Hit record. Okay, what's good, y'all? It's Seawill. I'm here with Marcus, aka Because You're Bored. We have another collaboration to talk about the Algorand ecosystem and YALL. What's good, Marcus? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing great, man. And again, it's good to see you start getting the recognition you deserve. You're building a really good following, and I'm happy to be from you from the beginning and watch you grow.
Appreciate you. Thank you. So I definitely want to keep collaborating with folks that have been hopping on the channel. So again, thank you. So y'all, we are going to talk about the Algorand ecosystem, and mostly we'll talk about YALL. But what I wanted to do is do a quick screen share just to put a couple Algorand ecosystem projects on the map in the mind before we really dive in on YALL. So I'm gonna do is share the screen here. And can you see my screen?
Yes, I can.
All right. This one, you see YALL pop up?
Yep.
Okay, cool. So big news, y'all. TinyMan is now live. Mainnet has launched. What TinyMan is a DEX, a decentralized exchange, decentralized secure trading, guaranteed liquidity. It's for the guys, the little guys, not the billionaires, you know. So Algorand, again, 0.001 fee when we're doing transactions. This is just a quick look at TinyMan. We have swaps, pools, and a whole bunch of analytics. It is damn near still almost free. Transactions are just as cheap. You just have to pay a little swap fee. And swap fees are not like Ethereum, so don't worry about fees at all, honestly. And then all these community members have tokens that they uploaded. You can pretty much start a pool or put Algorand to back an asset. That's basically how they're bringing value to these assets. Quick view, I'll make a video about this later. Smilecoin, again, is becoming really huge. Smilecoin is similar to DraftKings in a sense. What they're trying to do is build an ecosystem, or excuse me, what they are doing is building an ecosystem for betting, for gaming, so they can be that foundational piece, like how Algorand is becoming a foundational piece for governments and whatnot. So that's a quick, we'll dive in later there. And again, here we are at YALL. I feel like where it all started. The world's first and only DeFi suite on Algorand. I love it. And then from here, Marcus, you want to kind of tap in and what do you say from a 30,000 feet view?
Yeah. So I've been a part. I got in the crypto space around early this year, and Algorand really jumped out to me. But I think I want to take a step back, because we're talking. Me and you are really discussing all the things being built on Algorand and all the value. But we have to remember that for these things to be successful, the layer one has to be one of the best, or else we probably would not be here talking about these if not the layer one was not what I think best in class. And so I just wanted to make sure we go over just some basic things. You know, Algorand, you know, I don't know how the name was technically made, but there is a sort of a theory going around that it's a mixture of algorithms and randomness. And then you put those together and you get Algorand. I don't know if that's true, but that would be pretty nice if it was, because they do randomness as one of their consensus mechanisms. Again, it's a two-part company. You have got the Algorand Foundation, which is based out of Singapore. And then you have Algorand Inc., which is based out of Boston and MIT, and has the people we're most familiar with, you know, Turing Award winner Sylvia McCallie. And the company was founded in 2017. Again, it's a blockchain that has stated that they are going to solve the blockchain trilemma, which was coined by Vitalik Buterin, who recently just made news about his concerns about Bitcoin and El Salvador. But either way, he says that for existing blockchains, you can only have two of the three following properties. It's security, scalability, and decentralization. You can have two, but not three. But Algorand beats that, and they have been proving for 2 straight years that they have been doing this. Scalability, as you said, the transaction fees, as you said, your intro, are 0.001 cents, and that will remain that despite how much it scales. And that is the difference versus other blockchains like Ethereum. As I said, the more it gets, the more expensive it gets. But when it goes to 2.0, I mean, whenever that comes, if it comes, it's going to go to a proof of, if. And so, you know, I think that just sort of understanding the whole layup of Algorand and why it's going to win, because all the other chains, or mainly Ethereum, they're all trying to patchwork with L2 layer 2 level scaling or cross chains,
like
polygons and all that. But again, you can look up, you can probably just Google Ethereum rug pull and you'll see a new one each day. Yep. And when you think about, there's fun projects that are building on crypto, but then there is venture capital level building on crypto, like Arrington Capital, 100 billion, yep. Borderless Capital, 400 million, Skybridge Capital, 100 million. They're not going to put their money on something that can just get a rug pull and you're finding bugs everywhere. I mean, and that's sort of what the bet on Algorand is. It's a bet that the L2 scaling is a problem. And the reason why this happened is when Ethereum was the first of its class, it was built on the promise of solving the trilemma. However, Binance came in later and gave a centralized version which offered cheaper fees, faster trading.
Is that Binance coin, right?
Yeah, well, the Binance ecosystem.
Yeah.
And the customers went over there and just started trading. And so that's when Ethereum that's when they got on their horse and started putting in the EIP 1559 update.
Yeah, the Berlin fork update and all that.
Yeah. So again, so just bringing it back around that, we talk about, we will talk about all of the different sections being built on Algorand. But, the important thing is Algorand itself, because these will help bring in users, which will help drive value to the chain, to the token owners. But if they had underlying problems, no one would be here. But I think the growth that we're seeing is because it's going to be one of the horses that wins. And exactly. I just wanted to hit that update with everybody first.
Just let me just for the audience, a little comparison. Solana recently had a big massive pump, and then when the outcome was that it crashed, like Facebook crashed the other day, and we don't foresee that with Algorand happening.
Well, right. So what happens is Solana is a very competitive project. I think it's a proof of history. It's a different type of network, but it's got its own problems as well, such as running the nodes can be quite expensive, the validators. But more specifically, their claim to fame is their transaction speed, which I think is around 65,000 transactions per second. But what was happening, as I believe, was that, I don't know if it went under a DDoS attack, but
a DDoS?
Where a DDoS attack is where a lot of, you could have a few amount of people keep sending the same actions over to one network to try and
we froze there for a second. Marcus? Oh, you back.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
sorry. I don't know what happened. Did you hear me?
No, I just heard the DDoS and it was over.
Oh, yeah. So bringing it back. So I don't know if this is true, but they went under it's a denial of service attack. It's, it's a sort of a cyber attack.
Okay.
In which, it makes the network unavailable. You just keep hitting the host networks and it just makes it unable to use. And I think the chain started to fork. And so they had to shut it down. Now, the fact that they could just shut it down and do a reset, well, that just points to more centralization and a single point of failure. So it's something that needs, I'm not against Solana, but I'm just sort of saying that's what happened. But then you have Algorand, which has been live for 2 straight years without any situation like that occurring. We have not had any confirmed rug pull, DeFi attack, anything like that, 2+ years. And I really think that's why you're starting to see the institutional backing, venture capital, and real businesses building on Algorand. When you see the Miami Accelerator funded by Borderless Capital, Borderless Capital also helps fund Yieldly. But you're also seeing real projects coming on. It's there's fun to do, like, these what is the NFTs on Ethereum? It's like these monkeys or something
Yeah,
like
they
that.
got oh no, that's Algo Rocks I'm thinking about. But
Well,
yeah,
but
the apes, they got all
yeah,
kind of
yeah. There's just this stuff popping up, but then there's projects such as Six Clovers, where
Six
the
Clovers.
it's a decentralized payment network using Algorand's infrastructure like a PayPal, and the people that are doing it are sort of one of the founding members of PayPal, and they're also being backed by Borderless Capital. So that's one, Six Clovers. Then you have,
Yeah, I'm writing that one down. I haven't heard of
yeah,
that one.
yeah,
Six
but then
Clovers.
also you've got I think what's really going to be important is, again, everybody knows Gary Gensler is the SEC chairman, and he's from MIT. And just recently, you just saw that just in Reuters that the Fed is looking for a first U.S. digital dollar and is working with MIT officials in Boston.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course. Where are they looking?
you might as well say Algorand. And more importantly, we're already starting to see Algorand really start to enter traditional finance markets, specifically with a key partner called Securitize. Securitize is a compliance platform that provides proven, fully sort of like issuing securities.
Yep.
It's SEC registered and regulated, and we've already seen 2 digital asset securities that is SEC compliant be released using the Algorand blockchain.
Was that Exodus?
Exodus is one of them, and that's a multi-currency wallet provider. And again, their symbol is Exit. They issued about 2 million shares. They raised about 75 million. But then more importantly, what I looked at was something called the Basket Global Debt Fund.
Basket Global Debt Fund.
It's sort of,
I like this research that you got going.
To me, it almost sounds like a pension fund, or it's their whole objective is to provide current income consistent with preservation of capital. Well, that sounds like a pension fund to me.
Yeah.
And they're going to be focused on fixed income securities, sub-investment, different developing markets. So, I mean, this is just the tip of the iceberg. And you don't see these type of projects being built or implemented on other blockchains, which is why I think that Algorand, the beauty of Algorand is, again, you see the Vitalik crying today about Bitcoin, always making problems, or you always hear about Cardano, like he was crying to Elon Musk to accept his Cardano tokens. But the thing with Algorand is they just do their work and then the people come to them. That is the difference. You don't see Algorand really trying to get people to come and let us be partners. People are coming to Algorand themselves and saying, let me build on you. And that, I think, is a key difference. And that's why I think we're seeing projects, and there is a point in a time where you can get a lot of alpha being early investors in projects like Yieldly, like Opulus, like any other projects that are coming. And that's sort of why I even got into Yieldly.
Yep.
In the beginning, I made a video back in, when was that? Like June?
It was a while ago. I seen,
I made a YouTube video of in June talking about Yieldly itself. I went through what I thought it was, what the tokenomics were, what I thought the headwinds were, and I just took a shot. And I was supposed to hold on for a lot of it, but the thing is, there's a difference between being bullish on a project and knowing how to taking profits. Like, I'm still incredibly bullish on Yieldly, but when I start seeing metrics that make me want to sell because I think it's a little bit overvalued, I'll definitely do that. But I'm still
shave a little bit off.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still very bullish on the token, and I think right now it's just sort of gathering steam because everybody likes to follow what's the percentage staked on Yieldly.
Yeah.
And that can change by a lot of things. When you track it daily, they're going to release a bunch of tokens really onto the market that can decrease the amount staked, and it's not even really more users are staking. It's that they just diluted the market.
Yeah.
And
so we got a $10 billion token, or 10 billion tokens with Yieldly, I believe.
Yeah. So you have $10 billion worth of Yieldly tokens, and The claiming intervals every 24 hours. I think there is 3 billion tokens purely for the staking reserve, and that's supposed to last about like 7 years. So, per my math, that comes out to about, what was it? Oh, I'd have to do the math again. I think you're getting like a $25 million token inflation a day. And so that's what you have to beat. Well, the point is, if you can get those use cases for that, well, then it's going to drive the value. And that's where Yieldly, I think, had to figure out what they're going to be doing, because you can stake Yieldly for Yieldly's sake. But if you're staking, you're not driving what drives value in crypto, which is network effect. And network effect is active addresses, on the network sort of interacting, whereas Yieldly is, addresses that are not interacting, but staking. So it's a different thing. And people are on Twitter, they said, well, if this is so much staked, why isn't it running? Well, just because it's staked, I mean, the explosion potential is there, but you need a catalyst. You need the market to want to buy it. And then when they try to buy it, and let's say 70% is staked, there's only 30% tradable. Well, that's where you get these outsized returns. And Yieldly and Algorand and crypto, I think, is just a bigger sort of, I want to say the word revolt is not the right word, but you
say revolving.
I don't want to say revolt, but it's like the small retail investors. When you want to buy Coinbase, you don't get to buy Coinbase during the seeding rounds at like 0.07 cents.
No.
You don't get to buy Airbnb because you don't have all these different levels of security classifications or sort of net worths or things.
I'll say the network too.
Yeah, to get involved. So, but what crypto allows is for investors to get in on what would be a seed round and gain the alpha, because by the time Coinbase went to market, it's already like 1,000x.
Yeah,
10,000x.
Yeah, it's like that's exactly. I'm happy you pointed this out, because I was explaining this to a friend. It's the same. We got a blockchain that again is just making its first appearances on CNBC. Right, they're finally getting the hype of, Algorand went up 400% in this last year. So now it's in the same context of XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum. Again, Algorand has, like we said, Yieldly is the launch pad. Opulus is the music of it. Smile is the video game portion. We got Lofty AI is in, I forgot, Riallo tokens, I believe, are real estate. So it's covering every single field to build a whole ecosystem. Algodex dropping, Tiny Man's out. Continue.
Yeah. And I think also understanding why is that? Because when you look at the internet, which is what some people call Web 2.0, there's like 7 layers to the internet that make it work. You have your routers, you've got, all the different layers that come up to make the internet function, but all of the value is trapped at the application layer, which is the Facebooks, the Googles, all of those.
I think layer 1 was information internet. I believe layer 2 was social media, right? And then Web 3 would be the money or market, or the money portion is where we're kind of at now, right? Yeah.
So I mean, when you're talking about how the internet works. Yeah, I mean, you're right. You've got sort of the base layers of it. You've got the, what was I going to say? The application layers at the top. I think there's 7 layers of the internet. You got the physical, the data, the network, the transport, but it's all at the top. You don't invest in the physical. We don't invest in routers.
No.
We don't invest in the fibers or the sockets or the end-to-end connections. Those are all being used, but the money's at the top. The websites, the apps, whereas that's thin protocol theory, which sort of derives the value of how the current system works. Whereas blockchain is proposed to be something called fat protocol theory, which is the opposite, which says all of the value from the top will come down to the bottom. So whatever is being built on top of that blockchain will fall down, increase the value of the core chain. Now, this isn't a agreed upon aspect, but I think it definitely is something worth thinking about.
I'll say this, I definitely have seen, again, once. So when I got into Algorand, like I'll say about 9 months ago, 10 months ago, literally there were no apps on there. And the only complaints I was having inside of groups, I was like, this technology is ready to go, but then comparing to Ethereum, I was like, Ethereum has good user interfaces and actually have a big suite of applications. Algorand. See the crypto, a digital face, 2021 fiat replace, had to have it, bank account by Algorand.